Hello, hello, hello. Well, today is Sunday, and this is Sunday Slowdown at the Pinkhouse Day. Well, this day was created so that we could take one day in the week and take a pause. My lighting is a little off, and so bear with me while I make a quick adjustment in my light just to see if I could get a little more light on my situation here. I thought I had cast it on. Let's see if that makes things a little better. Okay. Nope, that turned it off. And we're gonna see what. Oh, okay. There you go. It takes me out of the dark somewhat. Okay. Let's do it that way. Hopefully, it's not a glare at me. Well, this came about because um, a woman that had watched one of my other videos. I always ask a question or a suggestion, and the suggestion she made, she said she liked my voice, and so she would love if I would read some things. And so I thought about it. I said, you know what? I love to read, and I decided that I was gonna make a segment that was about reading with Lynie. I'm gonna take a publication, and this one I thought was very appropriate because we're talking about at the Pink House building stronger women, positive reinforcement, encouragement. And so the publication that I have is called For You Just Because You Are Very Special. This was a publication that was given to me years ago by a very good friend of mine when I was going through something. And it says that it's thoughts to share with the wonderful person. And who better to share it with than the wonderful person that you look at when you look in the mirror? And so that's why I decided to make this the first Read with Lynie publication. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about it, try to build ourselves and share encouragement with one another. And hopefully, if you're having a bad day with your disease process, if you're really bogged down with the treatment modalities that are happening and just not really feeling your best, hopefully you'll take a pause today, Sunday, or whenever you see this video. You'll hear the information and it'll give you a break for a moment from all of those things to think about more positive things and pour into yourself. So let's just see what the back cover tells us about this publication. It says the special people in our lives are absolutely priceless. They're the ones who bring us so many smiles and inspire such gratitude in our days. They deserve to know how wonderful they are and how much they are appreciated. The right words need to communicate so much, and the reflections should be shared in a way that lasts forever. Now think about it. If you've had somebody that, since you found out about your disease process, that's been going with you step by step, sometimes you can't even find the right words to let them know how much they mean to you. So maybe listening to some of the information that we'll share from this publication along the way will inspire you or help you find the words that you want to say to share to that person to let them know how much you appreciate them being there. It says it can be difficult to capture our deepest feelings on paper and convey our sweetest thanks. That's why For You, this publication, Just Because You're Very Special to Me, is a book people have turned to for years and why its widespread appeal continues. It's the definition of a treasured present and a perfect gift. It comes from the heart and expresses all the things everyone wishes they could say. Best-selling author Douglas Pagels, whose books have sold over 3 million copies, and mind you, I got this, and I want to see what the copyright date is. The copyright date for this publication, seeing the date, okay, it was last reprinted in 2011. So this was 3 million copies in 2011. And so who knows how many more millions of copies have been sold. And so it says has added many of his most popular writings to this new updated edition. It's a remarkable collection accompanied by dozens of brilliant designs, and it reminds us that special people in our world, our friends and loved ones, the stars that make our light shine. And so, or our lives shine rather. And that's something to think about. And so, hopefully, as we get into this, like I said, you'll be inspired. Maybe you'll take some notes and use that information to help you convey to your friends and to your loved ones just how much they mean to you. But that most important friend and loved one is the you that's staring back at you when you look in the mirror, because this is about building you up. So, okay, let's see. We're going to start it out. It says, we don't always get chances like this to tell someone how much we care. If you would love to have a way to say all those things that never get said often enough, this is the keepsake for you. It's eloquent and sincere and simply beautiful. Browse through these pages and just imagine the smiles you'll inspire by sharing this book with a treasured person in your life. Save it for a certain occasion coming up on the calendar, or give it as a sweet surprise to someone who makes every day a special one. And discover for yourself, I'll say that again, and discover for yourself how perfect this is for saying how grateful you'll always be to someone who would love to hear those wonderful words. And so self discovery is a part of this too. So let's just start us off. My girlfriend gave this to me probably in 2011. So you can see that I've always treasured it and kept it as a treasured keepsake. Because look at the condition it's in, and I've read it several times. I love it. It's picked me up, cheered me up on many occasions when I've felt down and blue. And so, like I said, it's definitely a treasured keepsake. So, this is what the author wants us to be able to do. I want this book to put a smile on your face. I wanted to remind you that you have been on my mind. And I wanted to help you remember every time you see it in the days yet to be that this book was given to you just because you're very special to me. And so I'm sharing this book. So this is my gift to all of you, my viewers. I'm sharing this book with you so that you can know how special you are to me, and that you can take a sense of encouragement, build yourself up, pour back into yourself because of the message contained within the pages of this book. So we're going to get started, and we're just going to start out and see what happens. Has anyone ever told you this? That's the title of the first segment that we're going to read. Has anyone ever told you this? Has anyone ever told you what a wonderful person you are? I hope so. I hope you've been told dozens of times, because you are just amazing. And just in case you haven't heard those words in a while, I want you to hear them now. You deserve to know that. It takes someone special to do what you do. It takes someone rare and remarkable to make the lives of everyone around them nicer, brighter, and more beautiful. It takes someone who has a big heart and a caring soul. It takes someone who's living proof of how precious a person can be. It takes someone just like you. And when you think about that, when we get diagnosed with a disease process and start undergoing that journey, we are under an onslaught of information, decisions we have to make, and yet somewhere within us, we find the strength to rise to the occasion. And so, like the book said, it takes someone who has a big heart. It takes someone who's living proof of how precious a person can be, because nobody really prepares for that moment when you get that call or you get that letter in the mail and it tells you you've been diagnosed with whatever type of cancer or whatever type of disease process you may have. Then all of a sudden, you've got to battle up, get ready to fight, you know. And so hopefully this information will make you feel special about the you are now going through this disease process, how you're rising to the occasion whenever you have an appointment. And I know, having been there, you dread after the drudgery of every day having to go to this appointment, that appointment, this appointment, that appointment. being poked at, prodded at, and again, the onslaught of information, just trying to keep your head on straight to process everything that's being said to you. And so to take a moment and calm down from that and just hear this message that's being said to you, that you are special. All right. So that's the first story that we want to think about. Now, here's one other we're going to share, and it's a little story about you and me. Okay, so let's see what this one's about. It's a conversation. And so the me says, so lucky to have this special connection. The you says, the wonderful person I'm so thankful for. The me says, someone who means well, but doesn't always get it right. And what do you say? Someone who gives my life so many smiles and so much encouragement. The me, a little insecure, a little uncertain, a little crazy sometimes. You, a huge help and a calming influence all the time. You know what's going on inside me better than anyone. Me, there isn't anybody else I can trust like this, and no one I feel so comfortable turning to. You, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, at least a 20, me, counting my blessings and hearing your name come up so many times. You, a joy to be with, to think of, and just to talk to. Now me, so incredibly glad there's you. See, that was a beautiful interchange, helping you to appreciate we're not perfect, because remember, it pointed it out. You mean well sometimes, but we don't always get it right. But it's counterbalanced by the positive, wonderful things that we do for one another. And so this was another very positive story to think about. Who's that you and me in your life? Jot down that person's name or person's names and maybe send them a note of thank you for being that you and me in your life. So that's something that you can take away from this as a positive thing. Start making a list of those individuals that even though they don't always get it right, even though they may not even understand what mentally your day-to-day is like because of going through the disease process, they're still there and they're still wanting to put a smile on your face. And so we can put a smile on our own faces by showing them some appreciation. Because you know what? This is a truism. The Bible at Acts 20:35 says there's greater happiness in giving than receiving. And so when you give to someone, it makes you happy. And I have always tried to be that type of person, to give so that I could feel the happiness. I know for a fact that that is a truism, because there is greater happiness putting a smile on someone else's face, because ultimately it puts one on your own. All right, we're going to do one more story today. And this says 20 beautiful things that are true about you. You are something and someone very special. You really are. No one else in this entire world is exactly like you. You're a one-of-a-kind treasure, uniquely here in this space and time. You are here to shine in your own wonderful way, sharing your smile in the best way you can, and remembering all the while that a little light somewhere makes a brighter light everywhere. You can and you do make a wonderful contribution to this world. And there are so many beautiful things about you. You have qualities within you that many people would love to have. And those who really and truly know you are so glad that they do. Isn't that beautiful? When you hear those words and you think about yourself, really apply them to yourself. That regardless of the disease process in which you're going through, that's not the sum of who you are. It's just a situation incidental to what's happening in your life right now. But that is not all of who you are. And so it wants you to help you to realign your thinking to see more, to see beyond this immediate moment right now in your life. It's hard. It's difficult. I've been there. getting the phone call with the diagnosis, having to do the treatment modalities that for some were worse than the disease that you were dealing with in itself because of how it wrecked the body and made you feel. I've been there having to make the hard decisions, whether or not to have a mastectomy, all of these things that come about as a result of having that disease process. And because of that, we can lose sight of the beauty of who we are. That's part of the mantra or motto of the Pinkhouse to help restore the beauty that's within you. It's still there. You might not have seen it a certain way for the months or years that you've been undergoing treatment, but it's still there. And that's my purpose here with the Pinkhouse, to help you tap back into that. And one way to do it is to be calm, have moments when you're still, when you can be reflective about you, who you are, what you stand for, and take an opportunity to use a publication like this to reaffirm all those positive things that you knew about yourself before you went through the disease process. They're still there. Matter of fact, they may even be heightened and magnified because of the level of strength that you had to develop in going through that disease process. So those qualities could be to the stratosphere right now because of what you had to endure and go through. So it has only made you better and enhanced the character that you've developed. And so, like I said, these first three are gonna starting us out, and we'll do this every Sunday. It'll just be a Sunday slowdown. You get your area together, calm down, get your lights together. Next week we're gonna have us some ambiance, make some candles, a little aromatherapy going on. But I wanted to pop on and say, this is for us. This is for us because in sharing it with you, I'm reaffirming it to myself too. Because I still have those moments and times when it's not all good, it's not all great, but it's not all bad either. And you just take the positive from wherever you are in life. You want to extract more positive than negative because the positive will help you heal mind and body. And so I'd like to thank you for coming to the Pinkhouse today on this Sunday, this brand new Sunday slowdown. And I'll put a marker here so that I'll know next week we will begin to. Oh, you know what? I do apologize. There's a little bit more to this story. So let's put the thought back in our mind. The last expression that I said, and those who really and truly know you are so glad that they do. Well, let's flip over to continue. You have a big heart and a good and sensitive soul. You are gifted with thoughts and ways of seeing things that only special people know. You know that life doesn't always play by the rules, but that in the long run, everything will work out. You understand that you and your actions are capable of turning anything around, and that joys once lost can be found. There is a resolve and an inner reserve of strength in you that few ever get to see. You have so many treasures within, those you're only beginning to discover, and all the ones you already are aware of. Never forget what a treasure you are. That special person in the mirror may not always get to hear all the compliments you so sweetly deserve, but you are so worthy of such an abundance of friendship, joy, and love. That's where our story ends. And I mean, we needed these last 2 pages because they were critical. It really helps us to appreciate that we are special. That, again, bad things happen, but you know what? You can find the joy, it said, in life again. Things that may have been lost, you can find them again. And it talked about recognizing that you're worthy of friendship, joy, and love. And that's what I want you to take away from this story. That you have to recognize your worth because you deserve those things. Just because you're sick or going through a disease process doesn't mean you're any less deserving of having true friends, having joy, and having love in your life. You deserve them. You're worth those. And so That's what you want to project. And again, something. So this is just bringing back to when my girlfriend gave this to me. I was going through a really tough time years ago in my life, and it was special to me then, and it's just more so special to me now that I get to share it with people. So again, those we're just gonna go back and say the titles of the three stories in case you didn't get them. The first was Has Anyone Ever Told You This? And that's that you're special. The second was A Little Story About You and Me, recognizing and finding the you and me that's in your life now. And then the third story today was 20 beautiful things that are true about you. And one of the takeaways is that anything that we've lost, we can find again. And that we are worthy of friendship, love, and joy. And so, on that note, I'd like to thank you um, for joining me today at the Pinkhouse on Sunday Slowdown. We'll pick back up next Sunday with This Is Your Reminder. Excited to see what that one is about. And again, Amazon, I'm sure, has it, or any bookstore. It's called For You, Just Because You're Very Special to Me, Thoughts to Share with a Wonderful Person. And this is an updated edition, but remember, my girlfriend gave this to me back in 2011. And the message is still positive and relevant for today. So if you get a copy and we can read it together, that's wonderful. But if not, I don't mind reading it to you. I enjoyed this segment. I was really excited and looking forward to it. And so I want you to know Sunday Slowdown is going to just be a wonderful segment because it helps me to slow down and get centered. And hopefully the information will help you to get centered too. And as we go forward, when this post and everything and you see it and you like it, put comments in the chat if there's something else that you'd like to have read or whatever. If it's a book of prose or anything, just put it in the comments and let me know. So again, I want you to have a great week. Keep the positive thoughts that we talked about today in your mind. Send a friend an appreciation card. Guess what? Even if that friend is you, write a positive note to yourself. Let me tell you, Sister Girl has learned how to do that. I've sent myself Sherry's berries or what have you when I've had different things just to pick me up and put me in a better headspace, because sometimes what we're going through can really, really crowd out the beauty of being a human, sharing this human existence. And so again, I'd like to thank you, and I'll see you next Sunday. Okay.